Originally, I was going to do some sort of Tim Burton retrospective reviews, go back and watch all of the Tim Burton movies that I had never seen before. And then I found out about the unfortunate death of Paul Rubens. And so I said, well, you know what? Instead of waiting until I eventually get to that, let's just, for the first time ever, I know, watch Pee Wee's Big Adventure. Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I just got done watching, for the very first time, Pee Wee's Big Adventure. This is a 1985 film. 3 years before I was born. Not really the best excuse for why I didn't see it. I still could have probably gotten to this movie. In fact, I probably would have loved this movie as a kid if I had seen it as a kid. This is Tim Burton's very first movie that he directed, his directorial debut, and this film. I gotta be honest, when I put this in, when I decided to press play and see what we were gonna get here, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was just gonna be sitting there with my arms folded or my hand up to my face, just going, oh boy, this is rough, this is brutal. Because I was obviously aware of the Pee Wee Herman character. Even not seeing the movie, you couldn't help but see Pee Wee Herman, whether it was clips or whether it's the TV shows he had or him showing up in other things as the character. Pee Wee Herman was everywhere. So I was very aware of him. I knew how he was. I knew how he acted. So I guess I knew what to expect in that route. But when the movie first started and you see him wake up and he's fixing breakfast, or at least his house, the appliances are fixing breakfast, pretty cool setup. But it annoyed the hell out of me that he didn't even finish his bacon and pancakes and eggs. He just left them there. He had some cereal, and that was it. Anyways. And then when you see him with his bike, and I'm sitting there going like, all right, well, this is what I'm in store for. Just a really silly, probably more kids movie. That's what I was expecting. And then his bike gets stolen. And Pee Wee goes through an emotional downward spiral that I thought was hilarious. Once his bike gets taken, this movie turns into this whole thing, and I thought the humor got so much, not darker, maybe that's not the right way to put it, but it got smarter. This movie became so much funnier, so much more up my alley, and I really enjoyed my time watching Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I laughed a whole bunch of times throughout this entire film. I mean, when Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, first of all, he's great playing this character, this role. He was obviously, no one could have done this better. There's a reason why when you think of him, you think of Pee Wee Herman. And when he's going nuts, when he's kind of being a dick to everybody, how many times did Pee Wee roll his eyes or just yell at people because he was all about his bike and nothing else? Poor Dottie, who was actively trying to ask this dude out, her pursuing him. What is she seeing him? I think it has something to do with how much Pee Wee shows her no attention, right? He doesn't give her any time of day, no time of mind. He acts like he's not interested. And she loves that even more. It's such a weird dynamic. Who knew that all you had to do was not show them love? When he goes on this road trip because he thinks he has to go to the Alamo, he thinks he has to go to Texas, and he's hitchhiking and he's coming across all these various characters that actually make him seem more normal than he originally seemed, right? Because sure, when he's going back and forth with Francis and he's just, I know you are, but what am I? Like, you think, man, this guy's going to be rough to stick with as a main character. But when you see the convict guy that he gets roped up with, Large Marge, which was a very interesting part, and even the waitress at the diner that he ends up making friends with, another woman that is kind of all over him, and he doesn't really pay no mind. Tremendous kudos to Tim Burton. This is his very first film, and I give Tim Burton a lot of shit in more recent years for his more recent movies because I don't think he directs good movies anymore. But back in the day, his earlier work I do think is great. And his first film, what he was able to do with the humor, what he was able to do with the other characters, and just how this movie went from just moment to moment and just so many memorable scenes, memorable lines of dialogue, memorable comedy moments. I was very impressed. And then the third act, when Pee-wee winds up on Warner Brothers' lot, it's crazy that they let Tim Burton, in his first film, go to Warner Brothers' lot, tell the type of Hollywood jokes that he tells, which again, very smart, very funny, had me going pretty good. And then even the whole point where it's like, we're going to make your life into a movie. And you see his version of this movie that's so ridiculous and over the top and just this macho action film. And I just, what more can I say, honestly? I had a great time with this film. I couldn't believe how much of a good time I had. This movie surprised me a lot in all of the good ways. And it was also very nice at the very end to see Phil Hartman. I saw that he was a co-writer of this movie, and so he had a small part, but just anytime I get to see Phil Hartman, good time. So yes, very happy I watched this. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Pee-wee's Big Adventure? Do you like it as well? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and R.I.P. Paul Reubens.